That's 5 ranch wings and 1 buffalo wing. Loud seasoning salt on top of this. Macaroni and cheese. Spice that up a little bit. I got a piece of tsunami. I got a piece of tsunami cake. We're gonna eat this tsunami cake right here. How y'all doing? Y'all might as well just follow along with me. I'm gonna go and eat this plate and y'all with y'all and talk. Y'all ready to talk? I was thinking about doing some like thinking about just, eating on some wines, talking the news, things that's going on in the world right now. You like my barbershop? Thank you. Thank you very much. Push that like button. Show me some love. Yeah, I even got some Bolillo bros. I got some Bolillo rolls. These are Jewish Bolillo rolls. They Bolillo rolls. These supposed to be good. Fresh out the box by themselves. We're gonna try some of these Bolillo rolls. Can't eat meat without no bread. I was trying to find a nice little piece of bread with my dinner roll. Dinner. And just look at it. Shaped like a booty. Look, shaped like a booty. Tastes pretty good. It's Jewish bread. Kind of rough. But it's good. Now, find my remote control. Get on the television. Television. What's going on in the television? Finna go to the television. Television. Finna go to the television. How y'all doing tonight? How y'all doing this afternoon? Right now, I'm doing wonderful. Tremendous. Excellent. How you doing? You never had a mini table before? First post. How y'all doing? Show me some love. Push that like button. I'm just getting started. I ain't even started the conversation yet.
Vulnerable to conflicts overseas while resulting in higher gas prices here at home.
I know I've got a comeback in me. And when I take the next step, I'm going to make it count. For my career, for my family, for my life. Because I'm worth the investment it takes to earn a degree that I can be proud of.
Jinping is on a mission to woo Africa. He's making tall promises. $51 billion in investments, 1 million jobs. What's in it for him? Why is he hosting dozens of African leaders in China's biggest post-pandemic event? How should the rest of the world see it? We'll discuss all of this. Meanwhile, halfway across the world, Justin Trudeau has been dumped by his Khalistani friend, Jagmeet Singh. What caused the breakup, and will it bring down the government? We'll bring you the full story. In the US, no end to gun terror. Another school shooting leaves 4 people dead. The suspect, a 14-year-old student, will be tried as an adult. In Singapore, a grand welcome for Prime Minister Modi. We'll discuss India's Act East policy. Washington is back to its old games, blaming Russia today for election meddling. We look at the intensifying media wars and how narratives are weaponized in our world. Why Joe Biden is trying to block a steel deal, citing national security risks. Why India's market regulator is in the headlines for the wrong reasons with protests at the SEBI headquarters. What Bangladesh's caretaker leader has said about Sheikh Hasina's presence in India. In our continuing campaign, Safety is Her Right, a story from Uganda, where an Olympian athlete has died after being set on fire by her boyfriend. And on the occasion of Teachers' Day, we talk about what makes a great teacher. All this and more coming up. The headlines first. French President Emmanuel Macron finally picks a Prime Minister, names Michel Barnier as the new Prime Minister after months of political deadlock. Barnier is the European Union's former Brexit negotiator. The 73-year-old right-wing leader is the oldest premier in the history of modern France. The first delivery of Mpox vaccines arrives in the Democratic Republic of Congo. Almost 100,000 doses have reached the Central African country. DR Congo is at the epicenter of the Mpox outbreak. Last month, the World Health Organization declared Mpox a global public health emergency. U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken heads to Haiti. He is the highest-ranking American official to travel there since 2015. Criminal gangs have taken over much of the poor Caribbean nation. An international security force led by Kenya is aiming to restore order in Haiti. The United Arab Emirates completes the Arab world's first nuclear power plant. The plant will generate 25% of the electricity needs of the Gulf state. The UAE says its nuclear ambitions are for peaceful purposes. It has ruled out any enrichment program on nuclear reprocessing technologies. And China braces for Super Typhoon Yagi. Schools suspended and many flights cancelled in the southern part of the country. The typhoon is expected to make landfall on Friday afternoon. Hong Kong has also issued its third highest typhoon warning. African leaders are in China. They've been there for 3 days now for the China-Africa Summit. Beijing is hosting it. It's their biggest diplomatic event since the pandemic. Also very significant for Chinese diplomacy and economy. You see, China's Africa strategy is, or has been, under scrutiny. Xi Jinping is trying to turn things around, and today he made some big promises.
In the next 3 years, the Chinese government is willing to provide 360 billion yuan of financial support.
3600亿元。
$51 billion in financial support. This will be spread over 3 years. The money will come in the form of loans, aid and investment. And that's not all. Xi Jinping also promised 1 million jobs to the continent. 1 million jobs for Africa. How will China generate these jobs? Through a range of development projects. 30 projects will focus on infrastructure and connectivity. China will also fund 1,000 small projects. Plus, it will give Africa more military assistance, both financial aid and training. A $140 million military aid package was announced. China will train 6,000 military personnel in the region and 1,000 police officers. So plenty of announcements. But what's the thinking behind them? Broadly, China is trying to achieve two goals here. First, gain influence in the global south, and second, boost the Chinese economy. That's what they're trying to do. Let's talk about the influence strategy first. Africa is an important part of this plan. It is one of the biggest players in the global south. The continent has 54 countries. There are 54 countries in Africa. Leaders from 51 of these countries are attending the summit in China. And Beijing is going to town with it. Let me show you a headline published by Xinhua. That's the Chinese state mouthpiece. This article talks about the Africa summit. It says the event, and I'm quoting, the event illustrates China's vision and aspirations for the global south. Africa could be China's ticket to global south leadership. So Xi Jinping is going all out, trying to win over these African leaders. He is presenting himself as an all-weather friend of Africa.
愿意相对的。
I propose that bilateral relations between China and all African countries having diplomatic ties with China be elevated to the level of strategic relations, and that the overall characterization of China-Africa relations be elevated to an all-weather China-Africa community with a shared future for the new era.
A strategic
This ain't Popeye's chicken. This Walmart chicken. Man, Walmart can't be beat. They got the best fried wing. The biggest size, the best price. You know, you get an 8-piece wing combo at Walmart for $7.49. That's 8 pieces of wings and 2 sides. Combo, $7.50. If you go to Wingstop, and order an 8-piece chicken just by itself, it's gonna be $14.95. Just 8 pieces of chicken. That's at Wingstop. phone freezing up. Oh man. Make your day like you making mine. When I finish eating this one more rain, I'm gonna get up and spray the shit out your ass. Yep. I got a brand new can of fly spray for his ass. Motherfucker keep flying on my damn plate. Got a whole room to fly in, but you wanna come over here and fuck with me. Hey man. I'm about ready to rob this fool. Come over here and try it, homie. I'll be digging it if I let a motherfucker come over here and take what I work hard for. I'm tell you now, when you come in here, you might well get ready to get on your knees and ask Jesus for forgiveness. Because he's the only one that's gonna save you. He'll send you right back to your maker. Oh, that motherfucker like a chicken breast right here. This damn chicken leg so big. I went and got my feet done a while ago. Now I feel so relaxed. I think that's what my problem is. I went and got that pedicure, and I was dizzy when I came up out of there. I need to lay down and relax, get off my feet. I usually take me a good nap right after I get my feet done. Man, that feels so good.
Happy Wednesday. Boy, oh boy, you are in for a treat. Honestly, it's the Truman Show. I am convinced that everything in the world has become increasingly fake, predictable, and gay. It's just like one big Hollywood set. In case you haven't seen the Truman Show, by the way, you hear people saying that. It's like the Truman Show. Basically, it was a 1998 movie about a guy named Truman Burbank who was adopted after an unwanted pregnancy. He doesn't know that he's actually been adopted onto a Hollywood set. Literally everything in his life is fake. It's a reality TV program that is filmed and broadcast worldwide 24/7. And it's like just an amazing concept. Like imagine if literally every person playing a role in your life was just an actor and you were just being cast unwittingly into this long experiment. Well, I think we are all now Truman Burbank. It's just a huge political show. So what do I have for you today? Well, first and foremost, sadly, there's been a school shooting in Georgia, and the response from the media and the politicians has been predictable. Also, a document has apparently leaked from Travis Kelce's PR firm. Purportedly, they're saying it's not actually a real document, which would suggest that everything that you saw between him and Taylor Swift, yeah, fake, gay, and predictable. But up first, I know what you guys are really here for. Let's get ready to rumble because I have a sneak peek for you guys into my debate with Rabbi Shmuley, which is going to be airing on Piers Morgan tonight. And guess what? Shmuley was predictable. Honestly, maybe not. Started defending pedophilia or pedophiles in Israel or saying it wasn't real. Whatever. I'm going to tell you all about that. Welcome to the Truman Show. Yeah, Rabbi Shmuley is definitely having a mental breakdown right now. I see you guys in the comments talking about how he's just spiraling online. He really is spiraling online. I'll give you the background. I had a phone call from the producers at Piers Morgan. They were like, hey, would you like to have the debate with Rabbi Shmuley? I've always been open to a debate with Rabbi Shmuley. I'm actually open to debate with everybody who would like to debate their ideas. Zionists, more to the point, radical Zionists who think that you can just keep calling everybody anti-Semitic who has disagreement with you. Then you get to call up your homies in media and get them to smear people because you don't actually have a good explanation for what's happening in Israel, or you simply don't like to hear opposing thoughts and ideas to the BLM stage where everyone was a racist who disagreed with BLM. And so, yeah, I was game to do it. What I somewhat thought, okay, obviously, is Rabbi Shmuley is just going to come at me with ad hominem attacks. And I'm going to be able to expose his entire thought process. And his entire thought process, in my view, is that he's a Jewish supremacist. There's white supremacy, black supremacy, and yes, of course, there is Jewish supremacy. And so I was very keen to do it. Well, before I show you a clip from that, let's just talk about Rabbi Shmuley right now, because we have live takes from Rabbi Shmuley on Twitter. Because when you lose as badly as he lost in this debate by just being himself, you just have to prepare your followers. If you have followers, I don't know why Rabbi Shmuley has any followers, but he does. And you have to prepare them, like basically give them an excuse for why you just were terrible, why you failed them so badly, despite hyping the crowd days leading up to the event, right? He kept being like, Candace is this, and I'm going to do this to her, and I'm going to do this to her. I mean, he's like a chihuahua, yap, 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 and like sometimes you just want to kick that. I'm not saying I kicked a chihuahua, I'm just saying that Rabbi Shmuley is like clearly always barking the entire time. So he's already tweeted this, which is absolutely hilarious in his spiral. Breaking news, Candace Owens illegally brought a laptop with her to my debate today on Piers Morgan. Let's just pause right there. What do you mean I illegally brought a laptop? Do you mean I was seated in this chair where I always have my laptop? Do me a favor, guys, go pivot. I did an interview last week with, it's called ADH-TV Australia. Chris Smith, I had my laptop with me. I did another interview, the Kyle and Jackie O Show, Australia. I had my laptop with me. I just have my laptop with me because typically when I'm doing these interviews, I'm prepping my show. And it's not illegal, by the way, to have a laptop in front of you. I'm not breaking any laws, but that's what he began with. She illegally brought a laptop with her. And he says to cheat during the debate and Google answers to my questions. I still destroyed her completely and utterly, as you'll see. But what cowardice, how deceptive. Confirmation that Candace is a hollow, vacuous shell filled with nothing but racism and anti-Semitism. But the fact that Piers Morgan allowed her, without telling me, to bring an actual computer onto the set so she could Google during the actual debate answers to all of my questions and challenges is a stain on his reputation as a journalist and on the show. Imagine I was not debating Candace Owens. I was debating Google. I've done thousands of debates in my life, and this is the first time I've ever seen such treachery. The producers allowed it and never informed me, making the debate a farce, and I still pulverized her. He then demanded an apology from Piers Morgan. Do the right thing and apologize. I want a debate in its entirety to air ASAP, but tipping the scales in favor of one participant is so ridiculously undermines your credibility as a journalist. Obviously, this is just a bunch of hot air. He is very much embarrassed about his performance. I'm going to show you what he's actually referring to. It was an entire hour and 2 minute debate. There was only one section where I fact-checked something that he said because he was making such a fuss out of it. Again, I'm going to show you that, but first, look at what he's already put on Instagram in anticipation of the reaction to our debate. This is Rabbi Shmuley mere moments ago on Instagram.
Hi everyone, I just completed my full 1 hour debate against Candace Owens. Get this, you'll watch it, you'll make your own determinations. I exposed all of her vile Jew hatred and her detestation of her own community, of the black community. But here's what's fascinating. She actually had a computer. During the debate, she would make statements like Israel bombed this and this, and when I would ask her, what's your source, she would then look it up. Going to dead, first of all, it's very unfair to Piers going to dead air on air, but could you imagine? She brought a computer. I can't make this up. I've done thousands of debates in my life. This is the first debate I have ever done where my opponent actually brought all the information in the world via Google to my debate. Well, isn't she knowledgeable?
Yeah. Sounds like a guy who knows that he has lost. Anyways, here's the real background of what happened. You know, as I said, and this must have been 45 minutes into the debate. And for whatever reason, these radical Zionists like him think it's a good idea to compare what Israel is doing to things like Dresden. You know, well, guess what? The Allies bombed Dresden, so who cares if we're bombing Palestinian children? And what I remarked to him is what a ridiculous comparison, A, because it was a war crime what we did in Dresden. It was an absolute war crime. You know, to do that on the eve of Ash Wednesday to incinerate Christians is not something that I agree with. So when you have to use an example like that to justify what you're doing, that is not, in fact, a good thing. That is not a strong argument. And then I brought up to him the point that actually, if you're going to compare to Dresden, Israel has dropped more tons of explosives on Gaza than we did on Dresden. And I told him that because I had read it so many times. And of course, what people will do when you're in a debate and they actually can't refute what you're saying is they'll get real particular, like, what is your exact source for this? And so that's exactly what he did. He heard me say that and he started pushing for an exact source. Take a listen.
First of all, Candace just said that Israel dropped more bombs on Gaza than on Dresden. What's her source for that? Do you know that in Dresden, there were 1,000 Lancaster bombers sent over 2 nights by Churchill, and then 800 American, that's 1,800 bombs. What's your source that Israel dropped more than on Dresden?
So it's just interesting because you realize that you use Dresden as an example to justify what was happening in Israel.
Piers, this is the question.
I said more tons of explosives.
You just made a blood libel against the Jewish state.
I roll. I am so tired of this when you just get to say it's a blood libel, it's anti-Semitism. What's your source? It's like, okay, are you actually refuting any of the points? Do you want to get really particular about what the source is? And of course, since, as I said, this was about 45 minutes on, or at least it felt that way, into the debate, and I said, oh, actually, well, I do have a laptop here. Would you like me to truly source that? Because I've read it so many times, and Piers allowed me to source it. And I, at first, let him know, beyond sourcing it, that we're all very tired of this. We're all very tired of ad hominem attacks and being called names and being accused of blood libel and Holocaust denial if we have something to say about a foreign nation that, factually speaking, doesn't have anything to do with Jewish Americans if we have an issue with what Bibi Netanyahu is doing. Take a listen to the rest of that backboard. This tactic of when anybody brings up anything that Israel is doing is wrong, you get to just use the blood libel and anti-Semitism and, oh my gosh, it's a blood libel. It is not a blood libel. able to talk about the amount of death and the tons of explosives that have been dropped on the civilians in Palestine, okay? That is not a blood libel against Jewish people. This is such a nasty and perverted tactic, which essentially says, I don't have to debate anymore, because I get to just call everybody a person who's accusing me of blood libels. Okay, truly, what is happening right now is that the blood of Palestinians is being shed. Okay, that is a libel against the Jews. That is a fact and a reality against Bibi Netanyahu and this government, which has gone extreme in their response to October 7th. So stop this tactic.
Can I now have my turn again?
Man, you heard what happened to that one rapper?
That's what a blood libel is.
Man, that's sad, bro.
So 2,700 tons of bombs were dropped on Dresden in an 800 bomber air raid, and that is according to Britannica. Things like
And what was the tonnage of bombs dropped in Gaza?
In Gaza, it was
Yeah,
70,000
we had, like,
tons
lace
of
pills,
explosives were
lace
dropped in the
pills.
Gaza Strip, and I got that from CNN.
Through the duration of the war today, is that the time scale?
Yes.
Okay, so how much money? That
Which
was
they're saying has surpassed the
Let's be clear.
Dresden, Hamburg, and London during World War II.
She's comparing an 11-month war to a single night in Dresden. That's purely absurd. I'm glad that she has her cheat sheet, her computer in front of her. But notice, she made the
Well, you called it a blood libel.
not knowing what was she was talking
What
about.
she said, hang on. What she said, to be clear, was that the Israeli
It's also in the New York Times.
The Israeli Defense Force had dropped more bombs on Gaza than were dropped on Dresden. That is true. You accept that, Rabbi Shmuley?
Pierce, I find
Did you
this
accept it?
honest with you.
You asked?
First of all, I don't. Wait, what do you mean it's true? Because she said it's true?
No, do you accept
You
that?
fact check her?
The New York Times says it's
Is this a
true.
serious
Harris is calling with French V. Fly in comfort on board our next generation A350.
We have a choice for state senate between former prosecutor Kit Mueller and extremist politician Suzette Balderas. Kit Mueller is 100% pro-choice. He's endorsed by Planned Parenthood because they know it will fight to protect reproductive rights and women's health. Meanwhile, Suzette Balderas has repeatedly voted against abortion rights. She even voted against protecting women from being imprisoned after a miscarriage, even in cases of life and incest. When you hear about it, the choice is clear. Vote Kit Mueller for state senate.
All right, let's look video Carl's Jr. Major Airs Rick TVs. 4 burgers and a lot more. All under $4. Because you're not just hungry, you're savvy. Take that, inflation. Your burger is
It's just amazing to watch people do this. It's always the exact same tactics. What's your exact source? Okay, well, fine, if you're really gonna push on this, I mean, I've read it so many times, I'm sorry if I can go back in my mind and instantly go, did I read that in Reuters? Did I read that in the encyclopedia? Like, it's a pretty well-known thing that that's what's happening. It's why the entire world is now reacting to what's happening in Gaza. It's not because everyone's anti-Semitic. It's because people have a response to innocent women and children being bombed into oblivion, okay? And you will see throughout that entire thing, I didn't want to scoop Piers entirely, but back and forth, it just goes on like this, ad hominem attack, ad hominem attack. That is the only time that I use a computer, but it is not the only time that Rabbi Shmuley is proven to be a liar. It's all he can do, lie and sneer. And then he had the audacity to call himself the second coming of Christ when he was rebutting me. If she's a Christian, and I'm the second coming of Christ, you blaspheme. You are despicable. And like I said, it has run its natural course. All of this name calling. Yesterday, Tucker is doing Nazi apologetics by hosting a historian on his show. It has now reached its limits. People are tired of it worldwide. Nobody believes you anymore, okay? Nobody believes that suddenly all of these people who are on board, most of all, people like me who literally spent the first couple of years of my career stumping on behalf of Israel. Like, I was like working for Zionists. I never had a bad picture of what Zionism was. And all of that changed after October 7th when I started seeing people like Rabbi Shmuley, when I started seeing how the media ruthlessly attacks and smears people for asking questions. When the Zionist movement began being represented by people like Rabbi Shmuley and people that are in the media who are nasty, okay? who lie like they don't even have any morals. They have no standards. They don't care. Their job is, I want to hurt you because you don't agree with me. When I began to see that, I decided to depart from Zionism. When I saw Palestinian children being blown up and seeing all of the images and the videos that I saw on X, and I saw radical Zionists in the media just like, oh well, that's what you get. Such an inhumane response, I decided to depart Zionism. So it's you, Rabbi Shmuley, and people that are like you, that are the reason that Israel is facing a PR crisis right now. Okay, and if you want to claw it back, it's not going to be through these strategies of bullying, these strategies of saying, well, you agree with us, so you're not going to Australia. Okay, that thug life is not working out for you, but keep trying it. Let's see. Anyways, you guys, I would pivot over for sure and make sure you catch that debate in its entirety tonight, which will be airing on Piers Morgan. We'll give you more of that content tomorrow, and I'm really keen to see what you guys think. And I'm specifically saying this to the Christians that follow me who have wanted to know why it is that many Christians are now turning away and saying, I can't support this nation anymore. I can't wait to hear what you have to say. To the Jewish Americans, who also have been called anti-Semitic, by the way. Self-hating Jews actually is a term. When you watch this back and forth, do you agree with it? I'm very keen to see your response. Anyways, you guys, I want to remind you about the Hallow app, because I know there's many people who want to have a deeper prayer life but don't know where to start. Well, Hallow understands that, which is why I'm so excited to tell you about Hallow's new prayer challenge, How to Pray. Prayer can be such a challenging thing to undertake, but it doesn't have to be overwhelming. Hallow's new prayer challenge will take you through short daily sessions over the next 2 weeks with an all-star lineup of spiritual leaders and guests giving you all of the essentials to creating a rich prayer life. They'll teach you how to pray through scripture, how to do imaginative prayer, how to incorporate prayers that have been around for centuries, and so much more. You'll get a new guide every day, and some of the guides include Father Mike Schmitz, Jonathan Rui, who plays Jesus in The Chosen, and Mark Wahlberg, and many others. The only way we can get through these crazy times is by setting first things first, which is getting closer to God, and prayer is the best way to do that. So download the Hallow app for 3 months free at hallow.com/Candace. That's hallow.com/Candace. So this is a pretty big story that is breaking, and I will give you the background. You probably have seen this trending. And yes, this is like a poppy story, but it's quite interesting, and it kind of fits into this theme of the Truman Show, because I think there are so many men who love American football and have been following it. And last year, it wasn't even American football anymore. It became like the Travis Kelce and the Taylor Swift show, because every relationship she gets in, for whatever reason, we have no option but to engage. It's like the algorithm is just like, you will like Taylor Swift, and this is her dream, and she's getting her prince. And it was almost like too perfect, right? It's like, not only did they start dating and they're so in love, and now she's cheering with her A-listers, and then he went to the Super Bowl. Like, it was like if I had to sit down and write a script for like a teeny bopper high school movie, that would have been last season's football season. And okay, he won, he gets the curl and he gets the ring, and it felt a little like, I don't want to say it because she has so many fans, but just like we're watching the same scene over and over again, depending on what's going on in her life. And she was coming out of a 5-year relationship, which was very private. This one was obviously the exact opposite. It was super public. Well, guess what happened yesterday? Well, Travis Kelce's team is saying that they're calling in lawyers over a leaked contract that claimed to reveal the exact date that his relationship with Taylor Swift was end. Unbelievable. His representatives, Travis Kelce's representatives, had to come out, and they had to deny that there were plans for him and Taylor Swift to split later this month after a document that was written on the headed paper of Travis Kelce's U.S. PR company was spread online. It appeared to have actually been legit. If you look at the paper, it's full scope PR, revealing at length a strategy. It's multiple pages, by the way. A strategy of what they would say publicly in a statement. They had examples. Travis and Taylor have decided to part ways after careful consideration. They both value and respect each other's personal lives and appreciate the respect for privacy during this time. They are both committed to their careers and personal growth and remain friends and wish each other the best. The paperwork also stated that the announcement would focus on Mr. Kelce's personal growth by framing the breakup as a natural part of life, and that it would also highlight his commitment to his career and his ongoing achievements in the sports industry. So, yeah, super interesting, but you had Full Scope come out and they said, no, this is not real, it's entirely false, it's fabricated. We never even hired a girl named Emily. Allegedly, this was sitting on Emily's desk. They said that they have never had an Emily ever, which I don't believe. There's always an Emily at a PR agency. I sniff that out as a lie. There's no way that you have this massive PR agency and you've never had an Emily. Everyone knows there's an Emily at every single one of these agencies. And so they got a little bit of egg on their face, and people are wondering, there hasn't been yet a response from Taylor Swift. Is it plausible that somebody really typed up this multiple page document and put it on their desk and pretended that they found it and set the internet ablaze? Sure. I mean, that's quite an elaborate hoax, just as, like, do people not have bigger things to do than to type a multi-page document and know even that Full Scope was representing Mr. Kelsey? But the other thing, and this is why people are going, okay, there might be something here, is that Full Scope PR, at Full Scope PR, is Jack Ketosian, and Pia Mali.